A bird with two horns on its head landed next to Drippy, frightening him.
Hello, Raindrop.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm an owl, a horned owl. Is this your first time at the zoo?
Yes.
Drippy told him. The owl looked at him.
Do you know what a zoo is?
Drippy thought for a moment.
Of course I do. A zoo is where all these animals are born.
The owl hooted.
Oh, you don't know anything about zoos, do you? None of these animals were born here. They were all captured and taken from their homes and brought here.
Really? You mean they're prisoners?
That's right. There are bars and moats so that they can't escape.
Drippy looked around at the animals with a new interest. He wondered how they felt about being away from their homes and their mothers and fathers. Drippy asked the owl,
Are you a prisoner?
No, I've just come to visit my brother. They have him in a cage. He's in the aviary. You know what an aviary is, don't you?
Certainly. It's, green.
The owl hooted again.
Oh, green is a color. The aviary is where they keep birds locked up. Come with me and I'll show you.
All right.
The owl picked Drippy up and put him on his back. They flew into the air, and a few moments later, when Drippy looked down, he could see hundreds of birds in a cage.
Oh, that's the aviary,
the owl said, and he swooped down to earth. It was a large cage with hundreds of birds of every size and description from all over the world. There were bluebirds and pink flamingos and green parrots. And in front of each cage was a sign telling the name of the bird inside. The owl explained to Drippy.
These birds come from all over the world. Some are from Africa, and some are from Asia. Some come from the desert, and some come from the forest. Oh, they are all brought here so that people can visit the zoo and stare at them.
Is that a good thing?
Not if you're a bird,
the wise owl replied.
The owl flew over the cage where his brother was a prisoner. Drippy listened while the two of them talked.
How are you feeling, brother?
I'd feel better if I were free.
I wish I could help you. Are they treating you well?
They feed me every day, and children come to talk to me and stare at me. But I don't like it here. I'd like to fly home, back to the forest where we grew up. I don't like being in a cage.
Drippy did not blame him. He would not have liked to be in a cage either. When the two owls said goodbye to each other, there were tears in their eyes.
I'll come and visit you again soon,
Drippy's friend said.
Be careful. Don't let them catch you the way they caught me.
Oh, I won't. I must go now.
Drippy's friend said to him,
I'm going to fly back to the forest now. Do you want to stay here?
I don't think so.
He had seen enough of the zoo. Suddenly the animals did not look happy to him,
I think I'd like to go with you.
which was naughty of Drippy, because remember, he had promised the wind that he would stay at the zoo and wait for him. But Drippy forgot all about his promise. So now he said to the owl,
Are you going to take me on your back again?
Drippy liked the feel of the soft, tickly feathers.
Oh, very well. I'll take you to the forest where I live.
And Drippy found himself being lifted up to the skies on the back of the owl. And as Drippy rode through the air, he thought about all the wonderful things he had seen. He thought about the world under the ground and the millions of creatures living and working there.
And he thought about all the enormous animals above the ground, the lions and elephants and giraffes. But was Drippy impressed by them? Did he say to himself, "What a wonderful universe this is, with all these magical creatures living on this earth"? Not at all. Drippy said to himself,
I'll bet not one of them ever rode on the wing of a jet plane.
When they reached the forest, the owl swooped down to the ground. He said to Drippy,
This is my home. I'll let you off here.
They were in the middle of a giant forest, not a pretend forest where the leaves of grass look like tall trees, but a real forest where the trees reached high up into the sky.
The leaves will be falling off the trees soon. Oh, it will soon be October.
What's an October?
The owl stared at him disbelievingly.
What's an October? Don't you know the months of the year?
But Drippy was unable to admit that there was anything he did not know.
The months of the year are 1, 2, 3.
Those are numbers. Don't you know anything?
I know everything.
Drippy replied, and then he added in a small voice,
Except the months of the year.
Now owls are very wise. This owl said,
I'm going to teach them to you because they're very important. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
There are 12 months in a year. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. Is that clear?
Oh, yes, Mr. Owl.
The owl stood and waited for Drippy to say thank you for teaching him. But Drippy said,
Now I know everything.
The owl sighed. Like the snail, he thought the manners of the younger generation were simply disgraceful.
I suppose you'll be going home now.
The owl said.
That was the last place Drippy wanted to go. The very last place. Why would he want to go home when he was having so many wonderful adventures? He had ridden on the back of the wind and almost been drunk by a hummingbird and killed by a giant shark and had been to a zoo and had been stepped on by an elephant. No, Drippy thought.
I'm never going to go home. I'm having too much fun.
Oh, well,
The owl repeated.
are you going home?
Oh, yes. Of course I'm going home.
Drippy lied, but he kept his fingers crossed when he said it.
Ha ha, that's good. Because life here in the forest can be very dangerous.
And as the owl spoke, there was a great roaring noise that shook the forest. And the owl fell to the ground, blood coming from the front of its chest. Drippy stared at him.
Mr. Owl, what are you doing?
But the owl did not answer. He was dead. And a moment later, there was a loud crashing through the underbrush, and a hunter appeared with a shotgun in his hand. And he called out to someone,
"Hey, I killed him!"
And for the first time, Drippy realized his friend the owl was dead. He had been shot by the hunter. Drippy crouched back against the leaves so that the hunter could not see him and kill him. Drippy had no friends now.
He was alone in the huge, dangerous forest, and he had no idea how he was going to get out.